All right, so thank you all for joining me here again. And this is part 2 of basic training as it pertains to, I think what's happening, sorry, as it pertains to using Zoom. And Zoom is this software that allows us to have these virtual meetings when we can't meet in person for whatever reason. Okay, it can be very useful, but to make it most useful, it's best to know the tools. And we did part 1, so this isn't a matter of going through part 1 in detail, but there's a video in the chat and that I'll be able to email to you or get to you, whichever way is easiest for you afterwards, that will go through each of those things and break them down, and you can press pause and play. So I'm just going to speak through them quickly as we go into the other things. So using Zoom as a guest versus having a registered account. And the reason why we discuss that is because not everyone has a registered Zoom account, and there are benefits to having a registered Zoom account, but you don't need one in order to be a participant in a meeting for Zoom. So it's not necessary to register, and you can still do all the things that we're about to do that are available to guests in Zoom. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so that's the first thing. You don't need a Zoom account to use Zoom. First part. Let me get this other thing together. Here we go. And I'm gonna make sure I'm looking at the chat. So if someone types something in the chat, I should be able to see it, just so you're aware. All right, I should be. And I'll get to it as soon as possible. And if you know how to use the reactions, you can also use those, like to raise your hand or say yes or no, or those types of things. So if you're a guest at Zoom, you could join Zoom through either the Zoom ID that's usually provided to you or a link. So you don't need a registered account for that. And the things that you would need a registered account for include things like having the ability to do recording or a number of other things, but not to just be a participant, and to host a meeting and those types of things, and to put people into breakout rooms and all of that. So connecting your audio versus disconnecting your audio is the other thing that we discussed and went into more. We just had a situation here a little while ago where, because I have a backup device on, and when the power went, I switched to that backup device, and I was able to do the best that I could to get continue speaking with you, and the meeting didn't end.
Right.
Okay. I'm going to move this closer to me because I see what's actually happening here is that although I have a camera on my, I see what's happening. Okay. Although I have a camera on my laptop, the computer is not using it. So I'm about to do a little switcheroo. And
but Miss Cooper, I could see you and hear you well enough.
yeah, I know. Do you see a difference now though?
A little clearer, yeah, more clear, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm gonna.
Yeah, that's better. That's
It is much better, right?
Yes.
Much better. So I'm gonna show you what I was using before.
Yeah, that's
external, this
Yeah,
external.
like night and day.
Yeah, it's funny. I was wondering why I was looking so far away and not looking directly at you, but the computer was set to use an external camera because I have that camera plugged into something. Long story short, you can use, even if you had your own phone connected to your computer, you could use a different camera to be able to get into looking at Zoom, like if your computer's camera didn't work. Same thing with your microphone. There are ways to do different things so that you can still use Zoom. And that's one of the other things that we got to. So I'll come back to that. But and if I forget, remind me. But connecting audio versus disconnecting audio. I just had to fix that because I knew something was wrong. Your audio is connected if you're able to mute and unmute your mic. If your audio is not connected, you're not going to have the ability to mute and unmute. And your audio icon will look like some headphones with a little arrow pointing up to it, like a little green arrow. Okay, so that's the difference between your audio being connected and not connected. And you'll usually get an option to connect your audio, like it'll say something at the beginning of your Zoom meeting, like using Wi-Fi or cellular data, that type of thing, versus not connecting your phone or dialing in. There are differences, right? Because some people's mics on their computers don't work. And so they have to use a telephone to call in a phone number to the meeting, even though they're looking at the screen in terms of the visual and people seeing them because the camera works. So these are some of the different things that we spoke about in the first session. And the other part of that was obviously muting and unmuting your mic, which is just clicking the little icon where the mic is. And if there's a slash over it, then it's muted, then we can't hear you. And clicking it again, then we can't hear you. And very similar to turning on and off your video. Right now, if I click on my button that it now says stop video, it's at the bottom left here, if I'm on a computer, then you only see my name. You can still hear me, but my video is stopped. So I would have to press what now says start video so you can see me again. Okay, so mic and video, those icons are right next to each other at the bottom left, at least on a desktop computer. The icons are different places on different devices. Okay, so just know that if I'm saying bottom left and you see it at the top right, it's because we're not using the same device, but the icons do the same things no matter what device they're on. Okay, and what else did we cover? We also covered switching between the speaker or presenter and the gallery view. So if you're on a phone and you're only seeing me talking right now, you're not seeing anybody else, you're in speaker view. But on a phone, if you to just slide to the left or maybe to the right, probably to the left, slide your screen, then you'll probably see 4 of us at a time. And that's the gallery view. If you're on a computer or even a tablet, that gallery view allows you to see even more of the participants at one time. And so at the top right of, at least on the desktop version, there's the ability to change the view, and it usually says view, and it has what looks kind of like, I think most of us are old enough here, the Brady Bunch kind of look, where you have the different squares, or the tic-tac-toe. It could look like that as well. And if you click on it, you have the difference between speaker view, gallery view. So we went through that. We also went through like raising your hand and using any other nonverbal reactions. And on my screen, the reactions button is at the bottom right, and it looks like a little smiley face with a plus on top of the head. And if I click on that, you'll be able to see the applause, the thumbs up, the heart, the little happy face, the laughing face with the crying, and many other things, as well as the check for yes, or the X for no, and the arrows for slow down or speed up, as well as the raise hand. And there are also some other dots over there in case you want to use some more of those. They're emotional icons. So that's why you might hear people call them emoticons. Yep, exactly. Thumbs up, Ms. Harley. So that's where those are located on mine. If you're on a phone, it's in a different place. You, depending on the phone also, you would probably click on more, which is the button at the bottom left, at least on the iPhones, and on the Androids, it could be at the top. It just depends on the software and different things like that. But the more button, and you'd see those same reactions and the ability for you to click on them. With the raise hand one, I think that's the only one that you have to click again to unraise your hand, to lower your hand. But if you click on the other ones, they only stay up for a period of time and then they disappear. And I think that's correct. So I'm going to try that. I'm going to click on yes just to verify that that's true and see if my yes ever disappears. Okay, so like right now, Ms. Harley, you have your hand raised. So when people see that and they're hosting meetings, then they would know to ask, okay, do you have a question? You know, there we go. We're raising our hands. Yep. So everybody's raising their hands. And again, what tends to happen a lot is that people forget to take your hand down. And so your hand stays raised for a period of time. And if the host didn't catch it immediately, they'll think later on that you're still raising your hand. So the yes is still up. So I'm going to take back what I said. And that's why I wanted to test that one. With the yes and no, they look like they may stay up there until you take them down as well. Okay. So just reviewing that, changing your name. And so this is the one that we wanted to make sure we could get to. Again, just a quick review. It looks like all of you have your names changed, so we don't need to do that part, it looks like. But if you did need to change your name, it would be in the participant panel that you would click on, participants, and you'd go over your name, and depending on the device you're on, again, you would click on either more or press on your name if you're on a mobile device, and you'd see the ability to rename. You could, once you click rename, type your name in there, press OK or rename, and that would be that for changing your name. All right. And then where we left off at was using the chat. Okay. So with using the chat, I'm going to ask everyone to just click on the chat button, and it should be at the bottom. If you're on a desktop or a laptop computer, on your phone, it would be oftentimes you would have to click the more button and then click the chat button, and then just type in greetings, type in your name, whatever you want to type in, just so that we know that you know where that is. Now, there's a difference between typing that to everyone and doing it privately. So what we're going to do next is privately, but for right now, if everyone could just say hi or whatever you want to do in the chat, and let me know if you're capable of doing that. And if not, we will explain that. But if you can, go ahead and do that right now before we move on to sending private messages. Greetings, Scribble. All right. So everyone could just type in the chat and press send. And to do that again, you find your chat.
Where is the send button?
Okay,
To
good.
your right.
So it depends what device you're on. So with all of the questions, just know that it always depends on the device, right? So what device are you using, Ms. Harley?
MacBook Air laptop.
So you're on a computer. So then you could just press enter on your keyboard once you finish typing. Here we go.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. So, and the thing is, it's different because on a phone, once you type in your message, the little icon shows up to the right of it. It looks like a little paper airplane in a blue button. And that's what people on the mobile devices have to press in order to send, but not on computers like we're on. So I have one computer open and one phone open, and I'm just looking between the two of them to be able to help everyone. What devices are we using today? So I know, Ms. Holly, you said you're using a laptop. Kubo, I think you're using, what are you using this time? Your phone or?
Same iPhone.
Phone. Okay, good. Brother Akil, are you on a computer?
Yes, yes, again, a PC.
Okay, good. And Miss McFarland, oh, you're on a tablet, right? What type of tablet? Are you on a Android tablet or an iPad or something else?
I'm on a Amazon 10.
Okay, okay. So, but okay, so that does use the Android platform. Okay, so now we know. So we have different devices. We have computers, we have phone, we have tablet. And again, everything is different depending on what you're on, right? Depending on what you're using. So if I ever say something and it doesn't reflect what you're seeing, go ahead and let me know. All right, so everyone was able to type in the chat. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to send a direct message. Well, actually, let me see if I can get you to do that for me. If everyone goes to your chat, at the bottom of it, you see it says everyone. If you click on that word everyone, you'll see the names of everyone that's in the meeting right now show up. Click on my name and just send me whatever. Send me a message. And Raskubu, I'm gonna send you a text right now too, a private one. All right, yep, I got your message, Ms. Holly, I got your message, Raskubu. And let's see, waiting for any others. And while I'm waiting for these, if anyone is having any challenges, let me know, but I think I got everyone. Yep. And because I have two devices in, what's happening is that you're seeing my name 2 times, so it's fine. So 2 of you actually sent me a private message or a direct message, as they say, to the one that I'm using on the computer, and 2 of you sent a message to the one that I'm using on the phone, which is perfectly fine because both of them are me. And in most cases, that's not what would happen. All right. Okay, great. Excellent, excellent. So the next part then, we have another person coming in. Let me let them in. It's Reimer. The next part, as we're doing today, and I'll just let you know what all we were doing today. So the private messages, which we just did, sharing the screen, practice being the co-host and the host, learning where the meeting invitations are and how to send those, using breakout rooms. And then let's see, we have about 25 minutes left. So we'll see how much further we get. But just remember that even after today, there's always a lot more to learn about Zoom. And we will be coming back to this again. The power just went again. We'll be coming back to this again in the 4th week after we do Microsoft Teams. So whatever questions you have, you can send them to me, even in between now and then. And if I have a chance to, I'll definitely respond. But you can also save them for that last week as we do more things related to Zoom. Okay, because next week we will be going into WhatsApp. Your power.
Oh, you're back now, man.
Oh, the joys of living in the time of WAPA.
Face your challenges.
We got to find the humor. We have to find the humor in it because otherwise it's really frustrating. Okay.
We get better.
So continuing where we left off, then let me see. I probably lost the entire chat now. So now I have to get that again. Again, it's always good to have a backup because when you live in these places, you just got to. So I'm gonna paste back into the chat the things that were for today so that my computer can access it, because since the computer is connected to the power, it went bye-bye and basically kicked me out of the meeting and then brought me back in. So the whole chat and everything has disappeared.
Wow.
On my phone, it has everything because that is not using. All right, let's get this back to where we need to be so we can continue keeping it moving. Here we go. All right, so we just did sending the private message. So what's next is sharing the screen. Now, something that you should know is that depending on the host who set up the Zoom meeting for whatever you're in, they may or may not allow for everyone to be able to share the screen. And so when you click on the share screen button, which I'm about to do, or help you understand how to do, it will say you have to ask the host for permission or privileges to do that. I usually have mine turned on unless I'm around a rowdy bunch that's gonna do whatever they want, but I don't usually have that problem. So if you're on a computer, your share screen button is at the bottom and it is usually green and it has an arrow and it says share screen. So once you click on it, it will show you different options of which screen you want to share. And you would click on that, and then at the bottom right of that, you would press share. That's just the basic of that. There's more to know about that. On a phone, your share screen button may share content, which is interesting that it changes terminology depending on which device it is, but it's not our tool, right? We're just learning how to use it. So once you click on that share content button, similarly, it will give you different options of what you want to share. It might say screen, photos, and then many other things. Okay. And once you click on that, it's pretty self-explanatory. Once you click on it, it'll tell you what else to do so that you're sharing your screen. And you can always, it's a good practice to ask people before you start going into whatever it is that you're sharing, to ask them, can you all see my screen? Okay. And most people will be like, yes or no, and then you can do it again if for some reason it didn't work out the first time. Just an overview again, right? So can everybody see their share screen button or share content button if you're on a mobile device? Can everybody locate it?
Yes. Mine is at the bottom of the screen in green.
Okay. Is there anyone that
Yes.
can?
Yes.
So then let's try, what time is it? Okay, well, actually, hopefully it's self-explanatory enough that once you push that button, it'll tell you what else you can press next. I want to make sure we get down some more of this, so I won't go through all of that. But what I'm going to do is, just like I did for Monday's session, I'm going to make a follow-up video that goes through all of the steps so that you can see it in that way. Okay, but at least you know that once you press the share button, it'll give you some options of what you want to share. You press that other option, like if it's photos, like if it's on your phone and you want to share a photo, you press photos and then it'll take you to where your photos are on your phone and you select which one and then press share. So just know that the steps will be pretty much as simple as that. And on the computer, very similar. But if it's like a video or something like that that you want to share, there are some buttons at the bottom left. Once you press share screen, and they will say share sound, and it also says optimize for video clip. You want to make sure you press on optimize for video clip, because if you don't do that, your video may come in a little choppy and it might be like buffering, and then people may not even hear it. Okay, so that's just something to remember. And again, I'll put that in the follow-up video so that you can actually see the entire process. Go ahead.
And
Yeah,
my phone don't really have a share screen, you know.
it should say share content. You see a little green button at the bottom center?
It has the share content, and then
Yes.
you have photos,
Yes,
iCloud Drive,
yes,
Dropbox,
Exactly.
Microsoft OneDrive,
yes,
and Google Drive. If I
right.
don't have a share,
No, but that share content button is the same button. For some
but
reason,
don't have a
named it.
share.
Well, no, here's what I'm saying. They named it the same thing. So the share button that I was talking about is the first one. And then once you go in and then you see all of that screen, photos, and all of those other things, if you were to press
Yes.
photos, then it would help you go to where your photos are. You would select the photo and then it would be able to tell
Okay,
you.
okay.
Yeah, so once you go through that process, it will do that. Yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah. Mhm. Okay, so
Good.
let's, I see a hand up, Brother Akil.
Yeah, quick one.
Sure.
How is it possible to practice it? If I were to go on Zoom, let's say like before, let's say for this session, right?
Mhm.
You know, sometimes you got like a half an hour that you know, the host is there, but the meeting hasn't started.
Right.
How can you practice? Can you just go ahead and pull up shares?
Yeah. Do you all want to, so let me make this your option. So we have 15 minutes left. Do you all want to take some time and practice doing this share screen and then just some of the things that are in the bottom of the list we'll bump off? Is that important enough for you for us to do that? Because we can do that.
I would like that. I would.
think so.
Yes, okay, so let's go ahead. Okay, Brother Akil, since you're speaking right now, go ahead and press, you're on a computer, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and press share screen.
Uh-huh.
Before you do anything else, what is it that you're going to want to share? Do you have anything open on your computer that you can share?
Yes, yes. I clicked it and go ahead and press share.
Well,
It's a document.
it's a
the Word
document, yes,
document
then you
that's-
can go ahead and press share, yes. Okay, so it says you've started sharing your screen and now we're seeing it. Funds available for urban and community forestry projects.
Yeah.
We can see the Microsoft Word document. So what did you
Right.
do? If you could speak through the steps that you just did, what did you do?
Okay, yeah, I had to basically click and share,
Mm-hmm.
but this document was up already.
Yes,
I had it up and I never did really close it out.
yes,
So it's up in the background.
yes.
So it showed up in the big screen. I think I can't remember. I remember about 2 documents.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also had my email at
Okay.
Yahoo.
Yes,
I chose the documents and I click on that. It kind of highlighted.
yes,
And then when it's there now, then it took over the screen.
exactly. And that's basically what it will do for anyone. Okay, so you click on share, it says share screen on a desktop, on a computer, it says share content on a mobile device, but you click on that green button that says share, it gives you the options of what you can share, you select and you follow those steps. And then once it has selected it for you, then you're gonna press the share button or okay, you might say okay in some cases. So now do you see where you can stop sharing? At the top of your screen?
Yeah, I noticed. Yes,
Okay,
I noticed.
go ahead and click on stop sharing. Mhm.
Yeah, well, everybody, there's a red and a green button at the top. When I run the cursor on it, it even bring down more stuff from the top now. But it looks like all I need to do is press stop share, right?
Yes,
All right, okay.
there you go. That was it. Does somebody else want to try?
Yeah.
I'll
If
try.
anybody else wants to try, you can speak up now and then we can walk you through.
I'd like to try.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Holly. So go ahead,
Okay.
you're on a computer, right? Yes.
Yeah, when I press the share screen icon, a white screen comes up with choices, I guess, of desktop 1, whiteboard,
Yes.
iPhone, iPad via AirPlay,
Mm-hmm.
iPhone, iPad via cable,
Mm-hmm.
and that's on the top. And then on the bottom is share sound or optimize video clip.
Okay, so let me stop right here. If you don't have anything else open right now, there will be nothing for you to share. So let's say you had like a PowerPoint or even like how Brother Akil had a Word document open already. You would need something open already for them to show up on like the second row. And then they would be one of the options that you
I
have.
think I lost your audio.
Oh, you're not hearing?
Okay, now you're back. Okay.
Okay. Okay, so what I'm saying is that before you press share, you need to have that item open, whatever that is that you're going to share. So whether it's a PowerPoint presentation, a Word document, a picture, a video on YouTube, whatever it is that you want to share, before you even press share in Zoom, it needs to already be open on your computer.
Okay.
Okay. So once you open something, and then let's come back and see if anyone else wants to try it. But once you open something, then go back and press share again, and you'll actually see that thing that you have open show up in one of those windows, in the white window that shows up. It'll show up on the second row. So see if you can open something and then we'll come back. Anybody else want to try to share on a mobile device? Ms. Reimer, McFarlane, or Kubu, anybody want to try to share? And you don't have to, we're just giving the opportunity since it was requested, and this is workshop, so this is what you get to do if you'd like to. It's up to you all.
I'm cool, I'm good.
Okay. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna move on then, and then Ms. Harley, once you have something open, let me know so we can let you, oh, there we go. That's Kubu started sharing
I
his
don't know
screen.
how that came up, but
Oh, well, no, this is actually
Dara.
Kubu sharing his
Okay.
screen.
Yeah. You drop
Aha.
it. You drop
Why
it.
are you teasing us like that? Oh my God, look at all those mangoes.
Yeah, for
We
real.
drop it out and in. Sometimes you're gone, sometimes you're there.
Okay, okay, understood, understood. But man, you got it. Let's see the mangoes.
I wonder if you know it's lunchtime.
The reason
know,
why
right?
the reason why he's showing all the mangoes is because this is a share screen and he plans to share them.
Okay, where can I come and pick up mine?
I would like to know also.
Kubu, you have orders. You have orders. You hearing that?
All of a sudden, he doesn't hear us.
I know, right?
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
All right, you got it done, though, Kubu. You got it done.
Dara.
Yes.
Did you see my screen? Okay, sorry.
I think his internet is moving a little slow. We can
No.
hear you.
Did you see my screen, Dara?
No, not as yet. I'm
Okay,
seeing
I
seeing
saw
his
pictures
mango.
come up on my screen, but I guess it didn't show.
Okay, let me stop sharing his
Okay. Oh,
there we go. Okay, so he stopped
yeah,
sharing.
you keep dropping out.
I think what happened is that since you're using your phone, once you started sharing, it was probably taking up more of your phone's data, more of your bandwidth. And so you weren't able to communicate as easily. But we were hearing you in and out.
We just didn't hear when where we're supposed to meet him.
They just want to know where they can come get the mangoes.
You know, border market. Any weekend we don't do.
Border Farmers Market, west side of St. Thomas.
When we ain't selling, we still down there. You go out get some mango, no problem.
All right. All right. Okay, so
Thank
Ms. Harley, go ahead and try now. Try to share your screen.
I don't have any pictures on my
Oh, it doesn't have to be
computer.
a
I was
picture.
trying to go through my iPhone, iPad AirPlay, but
Oh, okay.
don't know how
It
to
doesn't
do
have to
that.
be a picture though, even if it's a document, just so that you know how to. But I mean, I guess you get the idea based on seeing
Yeah,
Brother
I'll
Keelan.
have to work on it.
Okay, okay, sounds good. All right, let's see what we can get done then in the next 10 minutes. All right. So it says, okay, so let's do this. People want to know the difference between being a participant and being a host or a co-host. So this is the beginning of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, excuse me. I'm going to make each of you a co-host. But before I do that, I want you to look at the settings that you have on your device. So you have mute, video, participants, chat, and so on. And once I make you a co-host, you're gonna have some more. So I want you to see the differences. So also click on participants, click on your participants panel and see the different options that you have right now, not being a co-host, just being a guest. And then you're going to see the additional options that you have when you are a co-host. So as a guest, you're pretty much only able to like rename yourself most likely as a participant. Okay, but now I'm going to make each of you a co-host right now. So starting from the top of my list, so Brother Akil, you're now a co-host. Miss McFarland, you are as well. Come on. Let's see. Something just happened and it's not letting me. Okay, there we go. Miss Reimer, you are as well. Kubu, you are as well. And Ms. Holly, now you are as well too. All right, so what I did was that I just added all of you as a co-host. So if you open your participants panel, you'll see now behind everyone's name in parentheses, it says co-host,
Correct.
right? Look at the bottom or at the top, depending on what device you're on, at your different icons and which additional ones do you now see that weren't there before when you were a guest?
Pause, stop recording, breakout rooms,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah,
reaction.
Yeah. So that's down there now.
I
Also,
got
in your,
mute up.
yep.
Polling.
Yep.
Polls, yeah.
Polling. Mm-hmm. Mute all.
That's
Yeah. Okay. And in your participants panel too, click on your more option, I guess, in your participant panel and see what else you can do that you couldn't do before.
Stop
that you couldn't see.
video, spotlight everyone, report.
Yeah. All of those different things.
Yeah, my phone don't give me all them things.
Yeah. And again, depending on the device you're on, it will do different things. So always, always, always having a computer gives you more access to features on any software. The apps that are created for mobile devices are just to help you have some amount of access, but they don't give you full access to everything. They didn't program everything into the app. And sometimes they're working on it and trying to add more, and that's why the updates happen when they've figured out how to add something more. But as you see, there are differences when you're a co-host. Any questions about any of this so far?
yes.
Sure.
Recording. I noticed I had a button for recording as a non-host. Is that an option that the participant or a guest could record the program?
Yes, yes. As a guest, you can record as long as your host allows you to record. And Ms. Reimer, I see your hand up, so I'll come to you as soon as I make sure that this answer is okay. So yes, as a guest, without being a host or a co-host, especially if you're on a computer and sometimes on phones, depending on different things too, you have the ability to press record. Again, every host has to make sure that that ability is turned on for guests though, because if it's not turned on, then you won't be able to record. But if it is turned on, you can press it and you have two options. If you don't have a Zoom account, your only option will probably be to record and the video will be saved on your computer. But if you do have a Zoom account, a registered Zoom account where you have a username and password to get into Zoom for your own Zoom account, then you could also save it into the cloud if that's one of the features on your account. Okay, so many different ways. There are free Zoom accounts. There are people who don't have Zoom accounts at all. So different, depending on what you decide, you have different options. And Ms. Reimer, you had a question?
No. I was just searching and I
Okay.
happened to tap on.
Oh, no problem. Okay. So if you notice in the participants panel right now, the record icon is after your name. There's a little cloud and a red dot that's kind of blinking. If you click on the participants panel, you'll notice that. So
Yeah.
what that means is basically that all of the co-hosts have the ability to record automatically if you're a co-host, as long as it's set up that way. So that doesn't necessarily mean that you are recording on your device. It just does that once someone is a co-host. It shows that it's being recorded. Okay. There are many other things. Now, if I change and make each of you a host, that'll be a whole nother session. But at least as a co-host, you see you have the options to pressing polling and breakout rooms. And I think breakout rooms was one of the questions that people asked about. So why don't we each press breakout rooms and just tell me what you see? Just press it. You don't have to do anything beyond pressing it, but just go ahead and press breakout rooms.
Where do you see breakout room?
Sure. And it may be on the device. It may depend on the device you're on. If you're on a computer, you can see it. If you're on a mobile device, you may not be able to. So can you check that? If you're on do you see the ability to have a breakout room anywhere?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so those who are on computers probably can, but probably not the phones.
Assign automatic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it says you can recreate breakout rooms. You can assign the room automatically, assign manually. So a breakout room just means that you would change this Zoom meeting. This meeting that we're in right now will not go away, but you will create an additional Zoom meeting inside of this one where maybe we split us into half and half of us go and speak in one room and the other half go and speak in another room or meeting. But it's really all still with. Say that again?
Mhm.
Somebody said something? Okay, Brother Akil, your hand is up.
Yes, but that question was a while ago. Well, I can't remember. This was earlier when we just started talking about the breakout rooms.
Okay,
Yeah, I can't remember the question now, but I'll
okay,
come back.
okay, okay. All right, so because of WAPA, if you all have the time, I'll go another 10 minutes with you because we've had some interruptions, okay? And if not, and if you need to leave, I understand and it's fine. We're still recording, so I'm gonna send these recordings to you all as soon as I get them from Zoom. Once we close the meeting, it'll take a minute and then it'll send it to me in an email. Brother,
Question,
you remember the question?
yeah, yes, and it relate to, when you're a co-host, you could receive, like last time you were saying, like at the beginning of the meeting, people could come in late. So as a co-host, you could, welcome them in. How is that done with this now? Because now I don't really see, like, we call it, I think they call it the break room or something, or the entrance, some kind of entrance
Okay, the waiting room. Good question.
meeting room.
All right, so, and Ms. McFarland, I see your hand is up, so if you do have a question.
That's an error. I'm trying to put it down.
Oh, okay, take your time. Just go ahead and click on it again, wherever you see the hand raised in your reactions. It'll go back down. Okay, so to answer your question, and the question that he's asking is, when you all joined the Zoom meeting today, whether you joined using the ID or the link, you entered what's called a waiting room, not a breakout room, a waiting room. So that's before you actually get into the meeting. And it's basically just a security measure, just like a password, so that before you come into this meeting with everyone, the host is allowed to see that you've arrived, and then they can let you into the actual meeting. Okay, so there's a couple ways that you can do some security, just some security precautions. And one of them is using a passcode. And people might give you this 6-digit number. Once you get into the Zoom meeting, you have to type in the passcode to get into the meeting. I don't tend to use that because it's just another step. And I try to make it easier for those coming into the meeting to get in, but I do
Thank
use
you.
waiting rooms. Okay, and the
Thank
waiting
you.
rooms are another way of using a precaution to make sure that random people aren't coming into the meeting that weren't invited or that aren't supposed to have access. Because there are people in the world with nothing better to do than to just create havoc. But just know that I don't use so you will never have a passcode to come into the meetings that I've prepared. Okay? So for the waiting room, the host and the co-hosts will get a little notification that someone has entered the waiting room. So let me do this. I'm going to leave the meeting on my phone and then rejoin it again. And then all of you will see that I'm in the waiting room. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do right now. I'm leaving the meeting. All right, so now I'm gonna rejoin the meeting. And then you'll see at the top of your device, oh, it made me the host because it's my account. That didn't work very well. Let me do it a different way. Because I have a Zoom account and this is a meeting that I created, let me assign, let me see, I'm gonna assign, Brother Akil, I'm gonna assign you to be the host and I'll try this again. All right, so now Brother Akil is the host. I am going to try to join the meeting, but I'm gonna have to sign out as being myself and just join the meeting as a guest. Okay, so I'm going to join the meeting. So I've gone into Zoom. Oh, well, I won't bother showing you that because it's blurred. 693-1081 is the ID that I typed in. And we should, okay, I'm in the waiting room. So
Yeah.
can all of you, so nobody let me in yet. Be in there for a minute. Does everybody see, does everybody
Yes, we
see a
see.
notification that says that I'm in the
Yes.
waiting room?
Mhm.
Yes.
What does it look like? I can't see it.
I ain't
With
saying nothing either.
Option to admit.
Okay, so click
It
on your
says view
participants
and
panel.
admit.
If it doesn't automatically show up, click on your participants panel.
Yes, I see it in the participant room.
Okay, and so you see that I'm in the waiting room, right? Brother Akil, do you see it?
No, I still, yeah.
No, you see it. Okay, so on some devices, it just shows up at the top of your screen and it says so-and-so is in the waiting room. And then you could click admit. On other devices, if you don't see that, and you click on your participants panel, then you'll see it. So somebody let me in. There we go. Somebody let me in.
That's me.
Okay, thank you.
Say what, you just click on it.
Yeah, so you just click admit and then you let them in. Again, there's much more that we could get into in terms of being a host or a co-host. And some of these other things that we had listed, like, let's see, adding a profile picture if you have an account, the back end of Zoom and settings and all of that. We can get more into that, but I wanted to give you all just a few minutes of question and answer in general before we close out this session. And again, this is being recorded so that it could be sent back to you. But let me know if everything that we covered today is understood. I'll repeat. So sending a private message in the chat, sharing the screen, and then some of the abilities of being a co-host. All right. While we're in the participants panel and you all are thinking of any questions, there's a button at the bottom of your participants panel that says invite. I want to invite you to click on that button if you see it. If you don't see it, let me know because it may be someplace else depending on the device or the version of the download that you have.
I got it.
You got it?
Got it.
Invite.
Okay, everybody see
Yeah,
invite?
Got it.
Okay, so if you click on invite, you'll notice that you have the ability to do a couple things. And of course, again, it's different on every device, right? So it might be you can copy the invitation link. And like if you're on a phone, you can press that and it will copy the invitation link. And then you can send a text to someone with the link. So sometimes that's done. There's also the option to copy the invitation itself, the full invitation. And that's a really long bunch of information that probably is not what you need. But it gives you the phone numbers that you can call into from different area codes and the ID and the link and the name of the meeting and the time and all of that type of stuff. So just so you know where that is. Okay. Let's see. Go ahead.
There's on the top of that same window,
Mhm.
we have choose your email service to send invitation.
Yes. So if you
above,
look,
above it got a 2-bar thing there. Once a room system and email.
yes.
I guess room system is for like, I guess if they want to send to another participant or something.
It's giving you the information about the Zoom meeting. So again, that's a lot more information than anybody's going to need to join a meeting. But let's say, for example, here on campus, we have what are called Zoom rooms, right? And that's a room that's set up for video conferencing. So maybe a lot of people have to use it. And so the room, the equipment is set up to automatically be a Zoom room. So you don't have to dial in the way we do on all our devices. You just go in the room and you press a button and other people who are joining the meeting can simply press buttons too, wherever they're at, and they'll be in the Zoom meeting. So it's just another way of having a Zoom meeting. It's called a Zoom room. There are lots of different options, but if we're just sticking to the basics of what we're doing, All we need is the invitation link or the ID, the meeting ID.
Okay.
So yeah, there's a lot more that we can go into with Zoom, but like I said, this workshop is just for the basics so that you can at least be comfortable enough to get on a Zoom meeting, to use the chat, to show or not show your video, different things like that. Okay, so some of these other things that people are interested in, again, we can, the week 4, if we want to come back and do some more and go into breakout rooms and go into, I'll create some videos about how to add profile pictures and what the back end of Zoom looks like if you're a host. So I'll create some of those so that we can have those, because some people want to actually be able to host your own Zoom meetings, right? Not just attend them. You want to be able to host them without needing somebody else to host it for you. So we want to be able to get there. All right. Well, that is it for today. I want to thank you all for letting me do this because this is the first time that it's been done. And it was kind of a trial and error just so that I could accommodate the request of people who needed to be able to learn this. And again, there's a lot more that can be taught, but does everybody at least feel comfortable enough that they could join a Zoom meeting?
Yes,
Yeah, I do.
yes.
Yes.
Okay, and let me see if, Brother Akil, can you make me the host? Do you know how to do that? Go over my name in the participant panel
Yes.
and
More.
see if it allows, yep, click more. See if it allows you to make the
Make
host.
host.
Yes, go ahead
Yeah,
and do
make
that.
host, right?
Mhm.
Want to change the host to Dara? Yes. Okay.
Yay, thank you,
Very comfortable.
crowned me.
So now,
So I'm gonna
what I
throw
mean
up
is
a poll, but go ahead, ask your question.
okay, all right, right. So now, when it comes to the host, there's only one host. I just
Yeah.
transferred it to you.
Right, there's
Okay.
only one host, but there can be as many co-hosts as possible. So like right now, I'm gonna take off the co-hosting off of all of you because if I don't, nobody will see or be able to respond to the poll. Because co-hosts don't usually use the polls because you're usually hosting. Okay, so I'm gonna just launch this poll now. We can keep talking in the meantime, but I'll launch it so that we can respond. And it's just the 10 questions that ask the same thing that it did the last time if you were on the first meeting on Monday. And I know that the additional things are now there in terms of using the chat privately. You can do that and sharing the screen and being the co-host. So I have those responses already from you verbally. But again, thank you all for joining. And I'll stay on for about another 5 minutes, just in case anybody has any follow-up questions or anything about next week, because next week, again, we're going into WhatsApp. And if you're going to be doing the WhatsApp training, please send me a direct message with your cell phone number that has WhatsApp on it. So send me a direct message, not a message to everyone, but just a direct message, a direct chat into. And you can wait till you're done with the poll to do that. I see the answers they're coming through. Is there anyone that cannot see the poll? Nope, doesn't seem so. Okay, so I'm gonna stop the recording for now and we'll just finish up. Thank you for joining. So this was part 2 of using Zoom as a meeting attendant and leading into the different options of being a co-host as well.
Thank you, Ms.